happened.
We have to.
I mean,
we have to obviously bring up the al-Baghdadi news.
What happened?
The leader of ISIS was killed
again
this weekend by the. No, that was. You're thinking of Osama bin Laden. This is.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. Did they also throw him into the ocean and give him a Muslim burial at sea?
I mean, look, we don't make fucking jokes. I mean, look, this is a very complicated geopolitical situation we found ourselves in. It's dating back decades, and I think that regardless of our differences, regardless in our differences of culture, our differences of method, we should always pay respects to the warriors from the other side of the war.
Agreed.
So to you, al-Baghdadi. I'll take over if you want. Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do.
There ain't no way to hide.
It was a judgment comes for you. Judgment, no. I've been waiting fucking 5 minutes while this music's playing so I could sing.
Well, look, the Washington Post did handle it great.
Yeah, I think
they handled it.
They handled
the
it
best.
Yeah, they handled it better than we just did.
They
like complete children.
So al-Baghdadi was
and I'm gonna miss everybody.
so long. I'll do the baritone part. Live in a hateful world, sending them straight to hell.
Pour out a little something for everybody out there. Osama bin Laden, al-Baghdadi, easy. All these motherfuckers were lost.
Every time we say Outback Daddy,
knockout.
I feel like we're going to Outback Steakhouse. Like the first half of that, I'm like, oh, we're going to Outback. It's pretty cool. Washington Post handled it better than anybody, I think. Basically, what? We're the leader of the Islamic State. The Washington Post in their obituary section. You want to read it, Mike?
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. Adolf Hitler, war veteran and avid painter, was laid to rest today.
At least yours wasn't ironic. Jeffrey Epstein, financier and kids tourist enthusiast, dead at 66. It's the
Che Guevara, family man and LGBTQ and advocate.
What was the point? Like, look, man, I get it. I know they hate Trump. Like, I know that they fucking
ISIS? That would be, I mean, probably
worse. The Washington Post and stuff. Like, I know they hate Trump, but what does this do? Like, what is this? Was done on purpose. There's nobody in the obituaries that was like, oh yeah, obviously this guy was a great dude. Everybody knows this guy was a piece of shit, right?
Yeah, no, a few years ago, like back in the Bush days, it would have been like al-Baghdadi, piece of shit, buried in 48.
Yeah. Well, what happened that happened on Sunday, correct? Sunday is when it was announced that homie was killed. On Saturday Night Live, to be specific, SNL mocks Trump for bringing jobs back to ISIS amid operation targeting al-Baghdadi in Syria. Pete Davidson, in the latest episode of Saturday Night Live, played a member of the Islamic State who mockingly thanked President Trump for bringing jobs back to the terrorist group. But during the broadcast...
Too bad Pete Davidson can't play a sketch where he's a guy who holds down loving interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. He is... Pete Davidson, you talk about people that fail upwards. Pete Davidson is a prime example of somebody who fails upwards. Like, he's not good, right?
Yeah, he reminds me of every guy that, like, a girl's ever dumped a good dude for, and you're like, this fucking guy? You know what I mean? Like, there's girls that, like, are living with a dude for, like, 3 years, and they're, like, gonna get engaged, and everything seems perfect, and the guy's a dentist, and then they always start fucking a Pete Davidson. And you're like, come on. Really? You're gonna throw your whole life away for this Pete Davidson guy?
This is from the episode. We could play it. Everyone else is playing it. I think we're fine. Just this clip.
Trump supporter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
And where are you from? New Mexico?
ISIS.
Such a bad impression.
Yeah,
and this
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Look, you're right. But we'll get on Alec Baldwin's bad impression, but really hone in on Pete Davidson. So this guy's supposed to be from ISIS, and what part of Brooklyn? What part of Syria? Brooklyn are you from? Like,
But no, this is the bit though with him. I don't know if you realize this, but this is what they've been doing, and I know I see what they're doing. They're trying to push Pete Davidson as like his own thing within the realm of Saturday Night Live. Like all of his bits are just like, oh, hey, I'm just Pete Davidson being Pete Davidson. I'm such a big star now that everybody just sees me. I swear to God, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but it's
people are saying he just plays himself.
He's just, they're doing the same thing when they used to let Jimmy Fallon like corpse in every fucking sketch, to the point where it started to ruin the fucking show.
Of course,
it was like funny sometimes when he would up, but like after a while, I was like, we get it. You think Horatio Sands is funny, but for the purposes of getting paid all this money, could you pretend like you're on a stage?
Yeah, and you've already run through this a couple times. That's the other thing when with Jimmy Fallon. It's not like Saturday Night Live isn't like they get a script and it's their first take. They've run through the skit a few times over and over again.
Well, and he'll never be in the vein of Jimmy Fallon, because whatever you want to say about Jimmy Fallon to this day, he's likable.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, even if you don't think he's particularly funny or think he does a great show, has Jimmy Fallon ever really offended you? Like, have you ever heard a statement by Jimmy Fallon where you went, you know, this fucking piece of shit, you know, like Jimmy Fallon is an unoffensive.
Well, I mean, he's a lefty and stuff.
I get it, but not to the point where you want to punch him in his face.
No,
like,
I
they're
want
all
to
lefties.
punch Pete Davidson.
And Jimmy Fallon has that kind of like, he learned from Jay Leno, and he watched Jay Leno, and he's like, yeah, just don't be, even if you are behind the scenes, you're cutthroat and you're fucking other people, just don't be an unlikable guy. So he could get away with it. But Pete Davidson's a very unlikable guy, and they're trying to do the same thing with him, where it's like, whoa, it's Pete. Whoa, check it out, Pete's in it. Like if you're Pete Davidson's like that friend who's like lost all his confidence, and you and your friends are like, we're gonna help Pete get laid. We gotta help him get back in the game. So everybody goes out to the bar, right? And everyone acts like Pete's the coolest motherfucker while there's girls around, so you can put over Pete like it's a pro wrestling match.
Yeah, you know, Pete Davidson's something, and there's certain people you could point this out to, but this is never sustainable. Whenever they try to make a comedian a rock star, and that's what they're doing with him. The people he's dating, Ariana Grande, these Kate Beckinsale. Whenever you try to make a comedian a rock star, it never works. It always backfires. Comedians aren't rock stars, right? Like,
you're cool or you're funny. You don't usually get both.
Yeah, you can't be guy with finger tattoos and also the funniest guy in the room. Yeah. You know, it's pick one. And just for the purposes of this show, like, can you imagine if even, let's say, Chevy Chase, perfect example, back then got tattoos on his hands, and Lauren would have been, what the fuck are you doing? I can't use you in any skits.
You're fired.
You're always guy with hand tattoos no matter what we do.
I'll give you a good example. Could you imagine Phil Hartman getting a visible tattoo?
No,
anywhere?
Of course not.
He'd be like, sorry, I'm showbiz guy. Like, he wants to be able to go, yes, I can play an astronaut this week. Okay, you need somebody to play a dentist or a lawyer? I'll be there this week on time. So you can't be like, oh, I got to spend like 2 hours in the makeup chair while they cover up my cover-up of the Ariana Grande I Love You tattoo on my hands. Like, you just don't have time for that shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of these guys out there, like Jason Sudeikis, who's like, yes, I can be there Tuesday and I'll put a suit on. Yep. All right, I'll see you then. Like, there's no makeup chair. There's no, is Jason Sudeikis going to make it because he's bipolar and he's out fucking some C-tier actress and he's out doing drugs all night? Is he going to make? No, not going to have a problem. Jason Sudeikis is going to be there at 8 a.m. with his script going. Royce, I had some questions in page 17. It's bright and early. No tattoos. They're really trying to make him like a Mac Miller, cool, tragic type. And I'll be honest with you, I know how this works too, by the way. I've seen Tropic Thunder. And I'll put my tinfoil hat on here, if you don't mind. I think deep down, a lot of them want Pete Davidson to kill himself.
Oh, yeah.
I think that there's a lot of money to be made remembering dead people, even when you didn't like them particularly, you know? And I think that they want Pete Davidson to be found face down in some fucking ditch somewhere after some bad breakup so that they can go, oh, man, we did everything we could for him, man.
Tortured soul will be used a lot.
We here at NBC, man, we're going to be renaming this hallway on the 30th floor the Pete Davidson hallway, man.
It's also a safe injection site. Exactly. You might as well double it up.
But you get my point. Like I really think deep down there is a fucking weird, like, sacrificial thing they like to do. And, you know, I think they would love for Pete Davidson to just be found dead so they could be like, oh, man, Lorne Michaels could do his interview like, you know, I did everything I could for him. I tried to, you know, nurture him and put him through rehabs. You know, he's going to be doing that whole, I'm so important. But Pete Davidson, 2-hour special on NBC, they want that shit.
Of course
They're
they do.
sick fucks.
But the thing is with Pete Davidson that I never understood, like, you don't even go that far back. Let's go to the Will Ferrell SNL times. Like, if I were to go, hey, man, name a couple good SNL bits from Will Ferrell. You pop, boom, boom, pop right a couple of here. Neil Diamond. I'll just go off the top of my head. His Neil Diamond was always fucking hilarious.
The cheerleader
right?
sketch.
The cheerleader sketch. Yeah. So you could go down and you could name, these are classic things. Name a classic Pete Davidson character.
Pete Davidson.
Exactly. There's nothing of substance about him. And look, I'll be honest. I obviously don't watch SNL. I haven't watched SNL in fucking years. Not even the clips anymore. Like, even that's what happened with SNL with me. There was a point there when they had a really great cast, and some nights I'd catch the show. I'd be like, oh, this is pretty good. You know, put SNL on. And then it turned into, I mean, some of the people there are still okay. I'll watch the YouTube clips the next day. But now it's like, I don't watch anything on this show.
It's become WWE.
Yeah. Exactly.
You used to watch it like crazy. Then you're like, I'll watch some clips on YouTube of a good promo. And now you're like, no, I won't even click on the clips. Not interested.
And look, SNL's always done political skits, right? Like they've always done them.
A little bit.
But exactly what I was going to say. They used to pepper them in there.
A reasonable amount of them.
But everything.
Especially the cold opens, like during a political season.
How long do you think a cold open should be? A good cold open to a show.
Good
SNL.
one
Yeah,
should
how long does it
be
be?
no longer than 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, whenever
and that's
they have,
a long one. A 3-minute one would be like when they have a debate and they got to get a bunch of jokes in there. But usually, cold opens usually 2 minutes.
Cold opens now are 9 minutes. This is a 9-minute. This is a
again,
9-minute cold open.
Comparing it to WWE, what happens now?
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes of Triple H and Stephanie talking every day, and you're like, okay, I'll tune in at 10:15. Then I'll see if there's a match. There's not. Oh, Firefly Funhouse. All right, I'll come back at 2:20 to 10:27. I'll see if there's a match. That's how it is. I'll see if there's a non-political funny. Remember when they used to do fake commercials, Royce? Remember Colon Blow?
God.
Remember those
Schmidt's Gay Beer?
Yeah, remember those? Schmidt's Gay Beer was
a great one, yeah.
Spraying beer all over each other, shirtless. It was so stupid.
It was so dumb.
But you could never get away with that now.
There's so many things you couldn't get away with now. But now it's this self-indulgent SNL used to be, hey, we're going to make people laugh. Now they think they're part of the solution. We got to take it down. We got to take down the president, man. We're more than a comedy show, man.
Also, can I point out another thing about Pete Davidson?
What?
Because this is funny. He's like playing a guy from ISIS. Didn't terrorists kill his dad?
You know, he never mentions it.
But you get like...
No, you're right, yeah.
I wouldn't be doing like wacky ISIS. I mean, I guess maybe I would to mock the guys, but like, this isn't even a good sketch. It's not even worth playing ISIS guy. So, and by the no, I'm not done because hit play because I want to hear people.
Mexico?
ISIS. Yeah, I was a prisoner in Syria until last week when you freed me. So I just wanted to say thank you for bringing jobs back to ISIS. And I promise that I will make ISIS great again. Woo!
That's hilarious. His dad died on 9/11.
Why wouldn't you get an Arab guy to do that?
No. You don't understand. You could have somebody play. You can't have somebody play an Asian guy because that's really fucked up now. But why get an Arab guy? They're not going to hire an Arab guy.
Why not? You know who would have been great in this sketch doing an Arab voice? Shane Gillis.
Yep. Bro, you know who always did a really good Arab guy? Fred Armisen.
Yeah, well,
Fred Armisen
does really
Yeah.
good anything.
So this whole
Can we talk about how bad this impression is?
it's really bad.
Like and this is coming from a guy whose impression of Trump is really bad. But like mine, it's supposed to be bad. Like mine's supposed to be a lazy, I'm just gonna talk like this all day. Are we gonna get some KFC later? I was thinking KFC or McDonald's. I don't know, we'll figure it out later. I just like doing tired Trump. Like this is 4 years in. Like, but his is like, I'm doing like what is he doing? He's spastic.
And this is what he does. Like, you know, every once in a while, when you, let's be honest, the Alec Baldwin star is at the lowest it's probably ever been, right? You would agree. Like,
It's been downhill since the daughter voicemails.
Yeah.
It's been just, and then he'll go back up a little bit, and then he'll putter back down. It's like crypto.
Here's what happens with these people. Like, let's say like New York people that become famous. You become really big, and there was a while there where Alec Baldwin was worldwide star, where it was like this guy is, you know, Glenn Ross. Remember, like fucking, he was great in that movie too, just fucking tearing up the scenery and all that stuff, just fucking ripping it apart. And now it's Alec Baldwin. Here's what happens with these when you're like a comic or someone that becomes famous in New York, for example. When you're coming down, New York will keep you New York famous. You're not Hollywood Alec Baldwin. It's not you're New York famous.
Laser Baldwin, huh? Yeah, give him tickets to Yankee games, like that kind of shit. Just
exactly.
Yeah,
so you become Woody Allen's another example of New York famous. Like you're not really the same guy you were before. Nobody really cares because let's face it, Alec Baldwin isn't sitting there getting a bunch of work if he has time every single Saturday to be doing this shit.
No, he's not. Trust me, he's not. And he thinks that this is going to be like a footnote in his great career of like the time he was on for a whole year doing Trump for the whole presidency. And a
couple of years.
It's not going to be
8 years of this.
Remembered. Maybe. I don't know. And didn't all these guys hang out with Trump? You loved Trump a few years ago, Alec.
And he's not. He was Trump.
But what I'm saying is he was New York famous. Trump was New York famous. They were New York famous together.
Yeah. And you know what the worst part is? They had Daryl Hammond come on and play Bill Clinton. And that only makes it even worse because they have access to somebody who does an actually really, really good Trump impression.
Trump is next
level.
level.
Daryl Hammond's probably, would you say the best?
It's probably the best one I've seen.
It's the best one I've seen. And then instead of bringing him back to do that, they bring him back to do Bill Clinton. And that's a kick in the balls because SNL isn't even getting the best person to play Trump. They just want him because he's New York famous. And people go, did you see what Alec Baldwin said last week?
Well, and because it gets more people at, not BuzzFeed, but like at some of these old, like Hollywood Reporter and Variety will still do a write-up and go like, Alec Baldwin stuns as Trump in new SNL sketch. They won't write that coverage about Hammond because nobody gives a fuck about Daryl Hammond.
No.
That's what it is. So they, at least with this, it's like, whoa, Alec Baldwin on SNL. Boy, does he do a great send-up of Trump. And then you look and, my Trump is basically, I'm a fucking spastic. And you're like, who is that thing? He's doing the Pepe Sylvia thing, but it's Trump.
Somebody goes in the chat, when do they talk about al-Baghdadi? I don't give a shit about this. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about him. He was alive.
He's dead now.
Now he's dead.
What do you want us
What
to do?
do you want to talk about?
What do you want
He
to
was
talk
a
about?
piece of shit who was murdered, and we brought this up to show how fucking stupid SNL looks. Look, but let's run down the al-Baghdadi thing real quick. All right? Everybody shit on Trump for taking those troops out of Syria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because and even in this skit they said ISIS is going to come back, and then he kills the fucking leader of ISIS. It's, it kind of shuts a lot of people up. That's it. Now we're going to make fun of Pete Davidson.
Well, let's also talk about the absolutely sociopathic urge that exists in people, right? Where they show up to a thing and they go, you're not doing the thing I want you to do. And to them, instead of seeking out somebody who is doing the thing you want, you stay in the place where the people aren't doing what you want and you go, everyone needs to do what I want. There is a trend of narcissistic, sociopathic behavior in this internet age where people are like, I showed up to a quinceañera looking for my buddy Greg's wedding. I've walked into the wrong room, but now I want you to turn this quinceañera into my friend Greg's wedding. isn't it actually easier to just go on MapQuest and find your buddy's wedding than make everybody switch buildings? That's what these people do.
MapQuest reference, dude.
It's just like I don't understand. Like people are like, I sat down in the wrong place.
But
you should be doing what I want.
You know what's? You know what makes it even worse and stuff like this? When you're talking about something that's dominated the news cycle for like 48 hours. If I would even kind of get the criticism if we had like this little nugget that nobody else had.
Yeah, like we were teasing
it.
We're the only ones that have this exclusive.
And then we would fart around and do other stuff, like do old radio teases. But
we do the same show every day.
Google Al Baghdadi. There's like a million stories.
Yeah, go on 4chan, faggot. Yeah. Like I don't have time to. What do you want from me? But it just makes me laugh. I'm like this thing where people just show up, like just. With 2 tickets to Cirque du Soleil, and I show up to a car dealership,
right?
And I'm like, where are the acrobats? And they're like, sir, we sell Hyundais here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have 2 tickets to Cirque du Soleil, and I want to see Cirque du Soleil right fucking here. They're going to go, so we're calling the police. There's nothing we can do to help you.
So anyway, this is this whole skit, just to surmise it, because we're going to play more of it, but was another one of those typical making Trump supporters look like fucking hillbilly boobs.
I had to do my spell. I'm Alec Baldwin. I'm doing Trump, I think, or an Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know.
The other thing is
doing
when they used to make fun of presidents, and they did all the time. That means since the beginning of SNL, they would make fun of the president, right? Like they would, kind of poke light at him. But now they're look at this. Watch.
Yes, I am. And I'm proud that you asked me up here.
This is a magazine. Another great acting, by the way. This whole skit is making fun of people that voted for him. That's all it is.
I think you got a couple of typos on that shirt.
Nope. This was taken verbatim from one of your tweets, therefore it's correct. The words need to change because you said so, sir.
Okay, but that's you. If you're wondering why your ratings are in the fucking shitter, right? Maybe this is an indicator. SNL, we hate you.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, people. Maybe people in New York don't know. I don't know because I learned a lot once I left that place. If you live in New York and you're in the television industry, you understand that. At 11:30 at night on a Saturday, people in the Midwest are also awake and also very likely watching the same television we all are. So wouldn't you want to kind of be a little more like these are people that like we're going to do diversity and we're going to include everyone, but you're actually showing like a real anti-white bias, like you hate white middle America. Hey, I hate to break this to you. They may not be the majority forever, but they're still the majority right now, and you're telling them to go get fucked. Is that weird to me? Like, would we ever like do something on this show that would chase off like a potentially large swath of like, you know what I mean? Like, other than jokingly being like, "Oh, fuck Oklahoma" or something, or like shitting on.
But seriously, fuck Oklahoma.
Seriously, fuck them. But like, we've never actually just went, no, I want nobody from the Midwest to listen to the show. Go fuck yourselves. You're all trash. Like, that would be a death sentence. You're like, that's a big chunk of America. And they just are like, you can't sustain this forever. They're good. You need their money from their products and things.
The thing is, you watch this show and it's easy to go, oh, they're a bunch of lefty idiots, but they're openly hate you. They openly hate you. Like it's not. You've brought this up, and I thought you had a really good point. This is a while ago. We talked, but going back to Daryl Hammond, you brought up the reason Daryl Hammond's impression of Trump was so good was he didn't really hate Trump. Like,
no, he may dislike him or disagree.
Yeah,
with
he
him,
might disagree with him, but
he doesn't have that obsession.
It wasn't visceral. So when he played Trump, it was Daryl Hammond's played Trump with Trump there. You know, like they both they talk to each other. It was it was funny, right? It was like I can disagree with you, whatever, but it came from a lighthearted. I'm gonna mess around with you, make fun of you, but this is they hate him.
My favorite was the original GOP debates when they had him, and they go, "Mr. President, no, it wasn't President. Mr. Trump, do you have any opening statement?" Debates are stupid. Frankly, you should all be paying me. That was what made it funny, because you're like, all right, that's funny, because that's not this. I'm a buffoon, and it's like that's not what Trump does. But
you sound like Pete Davidson's Batman.
But Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes, sorry.
I'm a boy, but now I'm a bat. That's what he's doing.
Get over your dead parents.
But like Hammond actually nailed Trump's attitude of debates are stupid and you should be paying me for being here. I'm worth more than all of these people. Like that's Trump in a nutshell. You can look at that without being so full of rage. There's so much, dude. There is so much actual humor about this man to actually be like mined from him.
Yeah.
And none of you people have been able to do it because you're so angry. You're so hateful. It's like when you try to write, it's like when a female comic tries to go, like, I'm going to write a bunch of material about my ex. And then they go and try it out and none of it works because you just sound like you're angry and bitter. It's not like when they were just playfully doing the whole, your ratings are going through the roof. Where's my cut? Like that's a Trump thing.
And again, it's one thing to make fun of the president and whatever. I don't give a shit. Like SNL's always done that. We do that. We make fun of some of these MAGA tard boomers too. But this is only now you're mocking people that are that just
they're all retarded.
Just because they
Yes, hello. I love you and I worship you as the one true white lord.
Who does that, though? Nobody does that.
I'll tell you who did that. I'll tell you who does that. SNL did that when Obama was fucking president. Whatever they're fucking criticizing, and this has been going on for a while, obviously, but whatever they criticize, it's what they do. They do it. When Obama was fucking president, every news station, every skit, even every funny skit about Obama was never making Obama look bad.
No, they acted like this.
Yes. He's so great. Look how great he is. Black president's amazing. Look how pretty his wife is. And I'm like, what is this?
And now the president's wife's gross. And
yeah,
the
now she's
president's a criminal,
disgusting.
And you're like, wait, whoa, what?
It's you guys were the ones that were worshiping the guy before him. You guys were the ones saying that. The difference is these people that you're making fun of, these people that voted for Trump, these are people that actually felt left out. And all you're doing is isolating these people more. You're gonna fucking keep isolating them. You're gonna make them feel like fucking like trash and whatever. And when people start reacting to it and start going, they're gonna go, Joe Scarborough. I saw a clip of him today.
Is he the former congressman whose assistant mysteriously died in an office?
Yes, she was
under
shot.
Very mysterious circumstances.
Yes. So Joe Scarborough was after Trump was booed at the Nationals game. We talked about that. They at the World Series game they booed him and they started chanting "Lock him up." Joe Scarborough came out today and said, I disagree with Trump and everything, but no, in America, no, but the World Series is the biggest game. Everyone's watching us all over the planet. We shouldn't openly be mocking our president and saying that we're going to lock him up. And then I go, I'm thinking to myself, you're part of the reason people are. You have been literally fucking just dumping loads and loads of garbage on this guy since the beginning of his presidency because he made fun of your fucking wife's botched face job.
Fucking great, by the way. It was one of his best tweets of all time.
Yeah, and now when it happens, you go, hey, have some class. No, you're the one that threw the first punch, you idiot. You're the one that's making people do this. Every article I read is how he was, for a while there, they've kind of backed off on it a bit for a while. There was like, he's literally Hitler, and it's like, you guys are saying this. And then when it makes the country look bad, first off, somebody pointed this out. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but somebody pointed this out. This Nationals, when this World Series game, look at this. Can you believe all these Americans are booing a president? Patton Oswalt tweeted something like that. Patton Oswalt tweeted like, can you imagine killing the leader of ISIS and the country hates you so much they still boo you at a baseball game? That's what Patton Oswalt's tweet was. And I'm thinking to myself, the people that can afford to go to a World Series game in DC aren't normal everyday people. It's the same elite fucking people that can afford to go to a World Series game or afford to go to a Super Bowl game that are doing it. You know, this was if this was in the Texas Rangers, and this wouldn't be happening. You know, they built this environment where there's vitriol hatred towards him, and when then people act out, it's just wow Pikachu face, like, oh, I can't believe they did that. I fucking can. I can.
And I love this idea that they're gonna make fun of fat Midwestern ladies with bangs and denim jackets. I hate to break it to you guys, but if you want to get your ratings back up, there are a lot of fat ladies with bangs and denim jackets on.
You're right.
You should probably start maybe at least, you don't have to be nice to them, you don't have to cater to them, but maybe pretend like they're human beings again, because they're not watching you anymore.
The people you're mocking are still the only people that are still watching network TV.
Yeah,
that's think about it. Like those are the people that all these people in New York and stuff. They're not fucking sitting there watching NBC. They're fucking watching whatever YouTube shit or whatever woke shit Barbie Ferreira's doing and shit like that. They're not watching this. So you can make fun of them all the same face too. Like everything. Every time I look at Alec Baldwin's impression, every time I look at it, it's the same Trump face. What are you doing, guys? What the fuck are you doing? Do you have that much disdain for anybody who isn't by a body of water? Because that's what it is. Unless you're by a beach, these motherfuckers don't care about you. And honestly, that's why now your only hope is Elizabeth Warren. You guys are fuck city. Like, you're going to be shocked when you try to run dopey Elizabeth Warren, who's going to get fucking crushed. And she's going to get crushed. She's wholly unlikable. And then you guys are going to be like, well, what happened? I don't get it. We told everybody to hate Trump. Just because you guys control the airwaves and just because you guys have people that are... Just because you guys think that they live off of seeing is believing, right? They figure if you could squash out any Trump support, call them all boobs, and every TV show says Trump's an idiot, Trump's a moron, that actually represents what people think, and it's not. And it's just not. You're in for a fucking shock, man. All of these people are going to be in for a shock. And you know who on this set wants Trump to get reelected more than anybody else?
Oh, Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin, because that's 4 more years of SNL paychecks for this fucker. So he can live in his Upper West Side condo, you know, and only go to work 2 days a week. All right, we can move on. Sorry. Oh yeah, and al-Baghdadi died, for those who were curious.
Oh shit, how?
You know, I don't know. I heard it was like sudden. No, nobody saw it coming.
Heart attack.
Yeah, it's heart attack.